It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. I remember not that long ago, Eric Breen and myself, we had a video about like the 5 things I just don't understand about comic book, like the culture, like the community. I don't get it. One of them was shippers. Eric Breen, I think he gets it more than I do. So we're going to talk about something here. Obviously here with me is the voice of the voiceless, the comic book hoarder himself, the man so cool they call him the Breen. Eric Breen, how you doing?
Just when I thought I was out.
Digging you, reeling you back, baby. You thought you could just sit here and come on the channel and talk about old stuff, all the stuff you liked.
I thought old begat old. Apparently I was wrong.
Listen, Eric, you have to acknowledge that there are things still happening within the comic book industry, and sometimes you're the man to talk to about it.
Now let's talk about it.
All right, so here's I'm amending the other video with another thing I don't get. I didn't get it then, and I certainly don't get it now, but it's more in the news. So last week, there's a big hubbub that I guess in the Harley Quinn, adult-rated cartoon, they drop F-bombs and all kinds of stuff like that in there. The writers had put forward a story arc where we would have confirmation that Bruce Wayne likes to go south on Catwoman. And I guess one of the DC reps said Batman wouldn't do that, which I think probably was a poor choice of words. I think, it wasn't going to happen because they want to sell toys and stuff with Batman. Having an episode out there with him performing certain carnal acts wasn't going to fly with DC Comics. I don't understand why it was a story. I don't give a shit. I think it's weird that they wanted to put that into a cartoon to begin with, even if it isn't just a kid's cartoon. But today we got confirmation. At least that's what the headline from Bleeding Cool is insinuating. This is what the headline reads, Brain. Tell me if this is subtle enough for you. DC Comics confirms Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy go down on each other. Are you ready to get back into new comics?
I'm still trying to, make out the subtle subtext of that quote. Okay, where do you want to start on this?
Well, where he gets that from is because one of the publicists from DC Comics, there's a new comic coming out called Eat, Bang, Kill is the subtitle of it. I believe it's Harley Quinn, Eat, Bang, Kill. I remember when I did my my solicit video, I was like, oh, I guess that has new meaning. And he highlighted that in a tweet, and I guess that was confirmation that is in fact the case. Why do people give a shit what fictional comic book superheroes do to each other when they're in their bedroom? I don't get the interest. I don't get why. Am I too old, or am I a prude? Is that what it is, Breen?
If I were to hazard a guess, I would say that a lot of the new audience that the comic book industry has been courting, so much of their identity is tied to their sexuality. And when that's the defining characteristic of who you are, I guess maybe you look for it in other characters.
It has to be the defining characteristic of everyone else as well. Yeah,
and it's like, okay, if you find out that if you're gay and you find out that another character has been retconned to be gay, maybe you feel a certain closeness to that character you didn't have before. Once upon a time, we didn't think about that stuff, whether it's because it was taboo to think about it. The older comics, they could make innuendos, but they didn't really go that deep into something. But now it seems to be, a more of a focal point. And I can remember several years ago the Give Cap a Boyfriend hashtag. And there was this girl that she wanted them to do a Captain America movie where Cap and Bucky are a couple, and they go to a store to buy a cat for a pet. And it's so precious because Steve doesn't know how to take care of a cat, and Bucky has to teach him how. And I would have thought the guy
enthralling stuff. Brady.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. 99.9% of the people say, "Who gives an F?" But so it said, and it seems like in the last several years there are people that are just strangely obsessed with the sexualities of, or in this case, sexual proclivities of fictional characters. I don't care. I don't understand.
But it's weird. It's not just the younger people. You saw what Zack Snyder did, right? He put out that fake cover of essentially Batman going downtown on Catwoman, hashtag canon or whatever. It's like, could you be more juvenile? This is why nobody wants you on the DCEU and why you were a terrible fit to begin with. Now, who gives a shit about that?
Yeah, I would say, and I don't mean to come across as a prude when I say this, there are certain things that you probably shouldn't do with certain flagship or important characters. Now, if you want to do this in The Boys or a creator-owned property, knock yourself out. But Batman, okay, or what they're doing with the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy in the cartoon, you're also marketing those same characters to little children, whether they're on stickers you put on your Trapper Keepers or the Trapper Keeper itself, or the lunch boxes, or the children's clothing. And
go out on Halloween and see how many little girls are dressed up as Harley Quinn.
Right. It just seems like they're, let the adult readers just draw their own conclusions, but don't put it out there in black and white. Now, again, maybe I'm just, getting old, but we all know that if Batman and Catwoman are a couple, that is going to happen. We don't need visual proof. Just like in the first Black Label Batman series, we all know he has one. We didn't need to see it. It just seems like when you're out of creative ideas, go for the low hanging fruit and make your own joke out of that. It seems like it's unnecessary. And if that's why you're reading comics, then I don't know, maybe you're the one that might need to, maybe look inward.
Well, it's funny. Did you see the interview with Anthony Mackie where he was addressing the, I guess you call them shippers that want Winter Soldier and Falcon, now Captain America, to be in a relationship together?
I heard about it, didn't care enough to read it, but did I hear that he wasn't real happy with the idea?
No, he clearly, if you watch the series in all the movies, there's never any indication that is the case. There's not one hint, not a look between the characters, not a slap on the ass or nothing. They're just two guys that have a respect for each other that is grown by the end of the series, or into the of that season, the first season. And he can't even say this is stupid. He can't even say, you can tell he cannot say what he wants to say because he knows that he'll get lambasted and destroyed by saying, why do you give a shit? There's no indications that that's the case. Why are you so concerned, and why are you trying to push that on these two characters? That has nothing to do with the story that was told. There wasn't one hint of it. There was a little date, and that was just to show that Winter Soldier, he feels like a man out of time, because he was frozen for so long, and he finds it awkward to go out on dates with women his own age because he's technically like 130 years old or something.
Well, I can remember when Donny Cates was getting death threats because people wanted Eddie Brock and the symbiote to hook up, and he said no.
It's so weird.
Again, but here's what happens when industries cater to what Zach refers to as the 12 psychos on Twitter. Everybody does it. To me, they're the most powerful entity in the world next to, well, I won't say who's number one, and that's how it empowers these just weirdos to just keep pushing for things that no one outside of their circle wants, but it gives the illusion that there's a groundswell for just,
And here's the problem, Breen, because I could give two shits. Why are we even addressing this? But now that it's come up, you have to talk about it. Well, because I've talked about it, it means I cared. No, I did not care. You made me have to come into this thing. I wish I didn't have to talk about this because it's so stupid. But now that I've voiced my opinion, I say, geez, it's really stupid that anyone's even asking the question or wanting to present in a cartoon Batman doing whatever to Catwoman, or even insinuate with Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, or even insinuate or wanting to show within the Falcon Winter Soldier series that it's clear that those two aren't in a relationship. Well, that means that I must dislike this group or that group. No. I just think that your ideas are fucking stupid and you need to grow up. Stop pushing all of your bullshit on other people. It's fucking stupid. I shouldn't even have to talk about this, and neither should you.
And yet here we are.
Yeah, here we are. You were forced into the damn thing.
I guess I'd say, well, nobody made us talk about this, but again, I guess I say we still care enough to be annoyed by it, because if you
don't say no, they'll never stop.
Well,
that's the problem.
And if you do say no, they'll put so much pressure on the people in charge that they will, and the powers that be will always side with these weirdos. I hate using that term, but yes, if you are sitting on Twitter all day long obsessing on what character is going to become gay next, or what character is going to go down on whom next, find something else to occupy your time. It's just,
go read Sex Criminals. There's a fucking comic book for you. Go watch Skinamax. There's a fucking channel for you with all the stuff that you're interested in. You don't have to go and push that shit into every other form of entertainment. It's just annoying. God.
Yeah. Why be so obsessed with something that isn't real? Now, I know the flip side would be, well, why do we care then? And I would come back with, but why is it so important to you? And by you, I mean the people that keep pushing for more stuff like this. Is it not enough that comic book characters can just have adventures and be these larger than life heroes? Now the heroes aren't allowed to look like heroes, or aren't allowed to act like heroes. It's like, we can't be you, so we want you to be me. And I said that's no way to. You're not going to hook a large audience by making all of these decisions that only appeal to a small group of people.
Yes, a vast majority of people could give two shits about any of this stuff. And you say, Bray, well, why are you talking about it? Well, there's a couple reasons. First of all, I have viewers out there that are probably reading this and are probably frustrated like me. And I want them to know you are not alone. And number two, if you do not say no, they literally will never stop. That is probably the biggest reason. We found that out. If you do not put up any resistance to these 12 psychos or crazy people on Twitter or whatever, they just there's never a mountain high enough for them to scale. It's just take another character down next, or whatever they want to show next. You cannot sit idly by and not protest and say, this is fucking stupid. Why is this even being discussed? And that's why I don't like Zack Snyder, because he's an enormous man child. He's not an adult. Sorry, that's another conversation, Bree.
No, but that's a fair point. The problem is, I don't know that we're ever going to get back to a point to where the people in charge will stand up to this nameless, faceless, way too powerful entity and say, enough. We're not going to cater to you anymore. I think it's, most of these properties are too far gone to pull it.
You think it's because Tumblr got shut down that they have to go infect everybody else's social places where they talk and speak to each other about stuff?
I never really connected those dots, but that's you may be onto something there.
Yeah, I think that's where all the shippers were before. They were just in Tumblr,
no question.
trading all of their weird fucking images.
But they were bleeding over into
Yes.
other facets of pop culture while Tumblr was a thing. Also, it's just that it used to be enough. Fan fiction used to be enough for these people. Now they want it in everyone's fiction. And to get back to the original point, I just, maybe we've progressed to the point to where it's parents think it's okay for their 5-year-old to see something like this. I don't, but that's just me.
Listen, I'm an adult. I'm married. I've got kids. My assumption is that Bruce Wayne is probably a very giving and passionate lover. But I don't really care to see it in the comic book or in a cartoon. Who gives a shit? It has nothing to do with the story that they're trying to tell. It adds nothing to it. But people will continue pushing and pushing and pushing for this stuff. And it's just, I know I wasted my time. No one else will just listen to the normal people.
I've been saying for years, the comic book industry took an irrevocable turn for the worse when agenda started trumping adventure. And I can't think of a better example of it than what we've been talking about.
A few minutes later.
But I mean, the things that I'm spending my comic dollar on now, I just can't. I can get 260 pages of 70s reprint horror magazines for the price of 3 new DC comics. That's not a hard choice.
A few minutes later.
How many times do you spend $5 for a book that doesn't really do anything? Because it's issue 2 of a 6-story arc that's written for a trade.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of those $5 increments, you might as well just flush.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.